Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, Nonstop Talking with your girl here, Vivian Liu. Today I will be discussing the shows and movies that just narrowly miss my favorites list, but I like them so much that I wanted to discuss them anyways. Hence the most surprising TV shows and movies I watched in 2023. I will be going down the list in alphabetical order. The first one is a twofer, and it's Avatar: The Last Airbender Season 2 and Season 3. So in 2023, I finally finished watching Avatar: The Last Airbender, which I think could be one of the best children's cartoons ever created. I think in terms of like storytelling, plot progression, character development, everything is just top notch. And in the first season, we meet like Aang, who is the long lost avatar. He has the ability to master all four of the elements that exist in this world, and with that power, kind of keep peace amongst like the four nations. Avatar: The Last Airbender is a favorites of a lot of my friends, so I'm glad that like I finally watched it and can now join in that discussion and love. I did start Legend of Korra afterwards, and have not gotten really far. I will eventually finish it. The next show I wanted to talk about is Daisy Jones and the Six. So I listened to the audiobook a while back and really loved the audiobook. Highly recommend it. I think it was on the favorites books list the year that I read it. But yes, love the audiobook, and so when I heard about the live action, I was highly anticipating it, and I don't think like it disappointed in any way. It's very faithful to the source material, even though I think the book did do better. But yeah, I think in terms of like the casting, the soundtrack, and like the faithfulness of the source material, I think it did really well in those sense. The only thing was that I felt that it could have gone like harder into like the nitty gritty of like the 70s rock and roll scene. But Daisy Jones and the Six follows the band Daisy Jones and the Six, who is this rock band in like the late 70s, and at like the peak of their success, they like disband and no one knows why, and now they're here in like doing this documentary talking about like what happened to get to that point. The next one is a movie that I rewatched, and it's Ice Princess. So yeah, so for kicks I was rewatching a few of like the sports theme movies available on Disney Plus that I watched as a child, and Ice Princess I think will always have like a special place in my heart, just because I don't think it aged badly. Like I think it still holds to this day, which is a relief because not everything still holds. And also I took ice skating lessons when I was a teenager, so it's a sport that I really do enjoy and love. In Ice Princess, we follow Casey, who is trying to get into Harvard. So for her math project, she decides to like mix math equations and ice skating. And then she ends up competing and really like falling for the sport and like having to like figure out like these two passions of hers and how she can balance them in her life. But yeah, I think it's just that when I was going through all these like shows of like rewatching, a lot of things were not good. But this one I think like it hit the marks, and like along with like nostalgia and like personal like interest, yeah, it was overall a really good rewatch for me. The next one is a rewatch. It was actually part of that rewatch series, and it's Motocross, which is a DCOM. DCOMs back in the day. But yes, so in this, there are two twins. There's two twins. There's a set of twins, Andrew and Andrea. Andrew gets hurt, and so Andrea, aka Andy, decides to take his place and race in motocross. And this movie, I think, I just really like the girl power, the eye candy, and just how supportive the mom is. There are like some funny moments, and just overall it was a very family friendly movie. There are like some like icky characters. There's like one in particular, but like that gets like resolved really quickly. I'm glad the father saw the light. But yeah, so like it's just very like calm and chill, and I just really enjoyed it as a rewatch. Next, we have Old Enough season 2. I don't know if this is actually like season 2 or not because the episodes on Netflix are not in order. But according to Netflix, it's season 2. Anyways, Old Enough is so freaking adorable. It will just like warm your heart. It's so wholesome. It's pretty much a show where parents send their young Japanese kids out on errands, and it shows like that they can be like independent and like they can attempt a task and be successful. And it also just shows like the really big contrast of like upbringing in what I see in the US versus what this show shows in Japan. And yeah, honestly, it's very pure and very cute. And if you just want something like light to watch, it's definitely gonna put you in a good mood. Next is another rewatch, and it's She's the Man starring Amanda Bynes. I love Amanda Bynes' old movies, and She's the Man is definitely one of my favorites. I've rewatched this quite a few times now. It's so quotable and it's so funny. So many of like the insult lines still like work to this day, in my opinion. But yeah, so in She's the Man, we have Viola. Her female soccer team gets cut at her school, so she disguises herself as her twin brother Duke, and enters his boarding school and tries out for the soccer team there. Her twin brother Sebastian, the roommate and fellow soccer team member is Duke, played by Channing Tatum. And so she enlists her roommate's help to like get better at soccer, and in exchange, she's gonna help the roommate Duke get at the school beauty, who is, I think, Olivia. And Olivia starts like falling for Sebastian, but it's not actually Sebastian, it's Viola pretending to be Sebastian. So yeah, so it sounds a little bit complicated, but I feel like everyone who's like watched it, I feel like a lot of people have watched it, it's not that complicated. It's just good old fun. And like there's just so many like good moments, memorable moments, like just like scenes and lines that will stick with you. Yeah, She's the Man is just like a comedic masterpiece. Next is, I think, the only non-English one on the most surprising list this year. So that's interesting. But it's The Files of Young Kindaichi. So Kindaichi is one of my favorite old school manga series. There was like a period of time where I was like searching up like online and like used bookstores of old copies, because I only had a few back in the day when Tokyo Pop was like releasing them. Regrets, why didn't I have money when I was young? But yeah, so I was like, oh, I want to like fill out this like section of my like manga shelf with more of like Kindaichi. But yeah, so I just have a lot of love for Kindaichi. And at the start of the year, I was like browsing through Hulu, and I don't know how Hulu did this, I don't know how, but like they actually just like front and center showed me that there was a live action of Kindaichi, and I didn't know it existed at all. But once I saw it, I was like, holy fuck, I need to watch this like now, which is what I did. Like I played it immediately, binge watched it. I will say that it is a decent and fun and campy attempt to modernize Kindaichi. I will also admit that the casting might not be what I had imagined. However, the main actor was in My Love Mix-Up, which I really enjoyed. Overall, like I think my love for Kindaichi really carried this show, and I hope they like. I should check. Is there a second season? Is there more? I feel like there should be more. There should be, right? Let me go check after this. Like I will definitely binge watch that too. Like I think yeah, it's mainly nostalgia because everything I'm saying is not like positively positive, but no, I mean, I still loved it, and if there's more, I will watch the heck out of it, so give me more. I almost forgot to give a summary. So we have Hajime Kindaichi, and he is a genius with a high IQ, and I think he is like the grandson of like a famous detective. But yeah, he's also like a slacker, doesn't care to do well in school, just one of those. And for whatever reason, he loves solving mystery, and also for whatever reason, crime just keeps following him in his life. So there's endless mysteries for him to solve. The next movie is The Longest Yard. In this, a disgraced American football player is sent to jail. And while in prison, there's like this match that's gonna happen, and it's the inmates versus the guards. And I remember back in the day, my sister really loving this movie, and I don't know why I didn't like watch it then, but I finally watched it now, and it's really funny. If you just want to like inject some humor into your life, I highly recommend watching The Longest Yard. Wow, I'm gonna end this with another rewatch, which is The Silence of the Lambs. Oh wow. 2023 was definitely a year of like enjoyable rewatches in hindsight. But The Silence of the Lambs, I will always remember the first time I watched it, which was in high school at my friend's place with a group of friends, and all of us just being like, wow, that was really good. Just being stunned by this masterpiece. And I think to this day, like every time I rewatch it, it always gives me like something new to dwell on. This movie just lingers with you, and I love it. I love it so much. After like watching the movie back in the day, I like read the books. And this was like high school going into college. Like I was just slowly like reading the books and then watching the other movies. But yeah, out of everything, Silence of the Lambs is definitely the best. And Anthony Hopkins is amazing. The creepiness in this is amazing. Like, I don't know, like in the end of the day, like this just holds so much memories. I feel like it's like traveled with me since high school because of how much like content I kept finding from it later on. I don't know how to explain that, but yeah, so it's definitely like, in terms of like favorites of all time, this is there. That's it. That's the end of my most surprising TV shows and movies I watched in 2023. So the main purpose of this video was just like, I watched a lot of really good stuff in 2023. I had a lot of great rewatches in 2023, hence why these titles like miss the favorites list, and why I felt like I love them so much though that I still needed to share them, which is why I created this additional video. This marks the end of my 2023 end of the year playlist. Yay! The next video will be the unhaul video I filmed before I moved to this location. So it's an older one that like I just never uploaded. So I will go ahead and do that. And then after that, I don't know, we'll see what happens from there. Outro time. Like, comment, subscribe. See you in my next video whenever that is. Bye!